Isaiah chapter 9. A great light from Galilee, and a baby boy who is mighty God and eternal King. Even though the land of Judah was in such anguish, her gloom will be no more, for the Lord will make glorious the land way up in the north that is currently enemy territory. The Lord has had little regard and esteem for these areas in Zebulun and Naphtali, which is Lower and Upper Galilee, in the past, but in the future he will make it glorious and honourable, the land that is by the way of the sea on the other side of the Jordan, the land of Galilee of the Gentiles of the nations. For these people who walk in darkness and live in a dark land, they will see a great light that will shine upon them. A side note here, the northern part of Israel in Jesus' time was known as the Galilee of the nations because of its international flavour. The root Hebrew word of Galilee means district or circle. In this area is the valley of Megiddo, which is the likely location of the Battle of Armageddon seen in the book of Revelation. It was the crossroads of the ancient world. Basalt rock mountains, desert and sea force trade routes going north, south, east and west right through the narrow valley rift of Israel, with the main trade routes of the world intersecting in Megiddo. Overlooking this crossroad was the village of Nazareth, Jesus' hometown, where Jesus possibly sat on the hill overlooking Megiddo Valley, watching all the world pass through. While the prophet Micah was at the same time saying, look to Bethlehem in the south, where Jesus was born, Isaiah was saying, look to the north, which was Jesus' hometown, and it's where Jesus started his ministry. Back to Isaiah. For you, Messiah, will increase and magnify the nation like never before, making it strong and bringing great joy. In your presence, they will have the highest joy, like when celebrating the bringing in of the last fruits after a great harvest, or when rejoicing at the end of a battle against an enemy, when great spoil and plunder had been gained. For you, Messiah, shall completely destroy the oppression and slavery over them. The yoke of burden and the rod of striking their shoulders will be destroyed, just like in the battle against the Midianites under Gideon, where it was God's hand that defeated the Midianites rather than the Israelite army. For God's victory will be so complete that the boots of every warrior that were in the noisy battle, along with their garments that are soaked with blood from war, will be fuel for the fire and completely burned up. For a baby will be given to us, and given for us a son. He is God with us, Emmanuel, and our coming King who carries the government on his shoulder. Marvel at it, a baby boy who is mighty God and King. He will be given honourable titles of special significance due to his glorious eternal reign. Wonderful Counselor, one who is miraculous, amazing and marvellous, and who is of honourable rank, with great wisdom in giving advice and dealing with the affairs of nations. He is the world leader whom the nations turn to for wisdom. Mighty God, the Messiah and King, is God. He has Jehovah's name and titles. He is mighty, having great power and performing miracles. Eternal Father, he is the Father of the everlasting age. As Father, he will lead us, love us, discipline us forevermore. Prince of Peace, he is Prince, God's Son, King above all earthly kings. He is the author of peace. He delivers justice and reconciliation that leads to individual peace and universal peace, that leads to disarmament of nations. His kingdom is one of eternal peace and joy. His government and the peace and joy of his kingdom will be enlarged without end. It will endure forever, and its growth will have no limitations. It shall fill the world and become a universal reign. He will be on the throne of David, which was promised by God to David and his descendants forevermore. He will fulfill this promise. He will rule over David's kingdom. He will establish it and uphold it through holy justice and righteousness, then reign over it forevermore. It is the ardent desire of the Lord of hosts to accomplish this, and so by his intense zeal alone it certainly will be accomplished, because he so greatly desires it.